You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
Can you hear me now? Oh, there we go. Welcome to All About Cannabis. So as I was explaining on my last show, that In the Lab with Jennifer was great, but there is just so many more topics and so many more great people to interview that I decided to make it a little more general. So we still, of course, will have plenty of science and that kind of thing, but I'm really enjoying exploring these stocks and also some other things. So I decided to call it all About Cannabis. And please, if you have any other or any ideas or people you want to meet or hear from, please let me know. I'd be happy to get them on the show. But it's been crazy for all of you out there that did not make it to Colorado for the, almost the first week of recreational or adult use sales. It went so smoothly, which I'm so proud. Actually, Chris and I were just talking that if it was a line for an Xbox, a line for an Apple phone, a line for concert tickets, a line for some kind of alcohol promotion, Black Friday, any of those, there would have been complete and utter chaos, and it just went without a hitch, which is very exciting. So good that people started posting false ridiculously false claims on Facebook, like 37 died of marijuana, blah, blah, blah. I mean, ridiculous stuff. It's pretty funny. But yeah, nobody died. A little girl supposedly found a cookie in a park and it was laced with cannabis, so she went to the hospital. I just don't understand anybody that would buy a $10 to $15 cookie and drop it in the park. I'm just saying. Probably was her parents. But that's about it. Everything else went smoothly, and we are making tons and tons of tax money for the state of Colorado, which in turn will go to schools. We are going to have the smartest kids in America if it keeps going like this. People underestimate how much cannabis people consume. I believe one of the stores, I won't mention, made $460,000 one day, the first day. Unbelievable. Wow. But, and my prediction was Colorado would run out of adult use cannabis yesterday. Well, that has not happened. A couple of dispensaries are still going. Some are out of stock, but the rest of them are still going, which is still amazing. The legislature tended to think that we would have so much supply left, it would be traveling outside of Colorado. Well, no need to do that, and people were paying up to $60 for an eighth, which is, really where some of the cannabis in Colorado should be at. It definitely shouldn't be at 25. Well, some should be at 25. Let's just say that. But anyway, I want to introduce my special guest. I'm sorry I didn't do that before. Scott Dittman with Farm Pods. How you doing?
Hi, Jen. I'm good, thank you. How about you?
I'm good. Very good. So you currently reside, so Farm Pods, let's back up. Farm Pods is incredible, and I'll tell you what, people in Colorado wish that Farm Pods were here 3 years ago, don't they?
Yeah, we really, unfortunately, missed the initial green rush, if you will, from 2010. We came to market with Farm Pods. Farm Pods are a self-contained professional cultivation solution built using steel shipping containers. So it's a turnkey, commercial, modular, stackable, ready to go, just plug in and grow solution for professional cultivators primarily. But we came to market summer of 2011 because we saw the problems that were happening in the early going in cultivation in this state, and that's where Farm Pods came from. Unfortunately, most of the guys, as everybody in Colorado knows, had spent all their money by the summer of 2011, and as everybody in the business business also knows, not too many guys are making money the last couple of years. So,
That's right.
so it's been a little slow here in Colorado. But now, as you mentioned, that adult use is with us, and everybody is now starting to find maybe a little more green under their tree, other than what the guys grow around here. We're expecting a good year in Colorado. Everybody is looking to expand their grow. So this will be, kind of the second green wave.
Right. And for you guys that don't understand this is what happened. People came in, they spent hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars building out a grow. And then, maybe I got a federal letter. Maybe the landlord said they didn't want to do it anymore. So literally they can't they can take the lights, but that's it. That's it.
Yeah, it happened all over town and in lots of towns. And, or maybe the city council, like Fort Collins, voted it out.
Right.
And then
right.
back in and then back out. It's as everybody listening to this radio probably understands, it's a pretty precarious business environment even still. It's a lot better today than it was in 2010, but we still are talking cannabis. It's still a difficult place to do business. And, the pods, to their benefit, the farm pods, really help our customers with that. If for any reason they need to move their grow, they just put it on a truck, pack it up, take it somewhere else, plug it in, and start again. So
it's unbelievable.
Yeah, it provides a lot of help. I have a lot of friends in the industry, and many of them got burned by that problem. And the good news is they don't have to get burned again.
That's right. That's right. And for those of you that are listening, you can go to farmpods.com, PHARMPODS.com. They are fantastic. You can travel with them. They double stack now, right?
Yeah, double or even triple. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And you guys have really, and from the science perspective, a lot of people like one open grow, but listen, if you get a contamination, it will spread like wildfire, and that's how nice these are. What is the biggest one you have? How many plants?
Well, plants is difficult sometimes because there's so many different growing techniques, but the biggest one we can build is 53 feet long. In a 53-footer, you could put 20 lights, maybe even 22.
Okay.
But really, the main product that we sell are 20 or 40-foot long containers. The 40-footers have 16 lights, and the 20-footers have 8. So, depending on your growing style, if you're a dirt on the ground or a soil on the ground grower, you're probably putting 9 lights, 9 plants under a light. So you might be in the 146 plant range, whatever that the math does there.
Right.
But in new states where there are no plant count limitations, we're going to see guys doing hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands and thousands of small plants. The face of cannabis cultivation is about to change yet again.
It's incredible. I mean, literally, if I had my parents' land in Arizona, they're on an acre, I would definitely have one of these with 8 plants. Here, I would only have 6 plants in there. But again, it provides a place where if something does happen, easily you can clean it out, spray it down and start over again versus a big, huge warehouse. I mean, little tougher.
Yeah, that's definitely right. Back in 2010, I, like a lot of people, got involved in the business in the beginning of the Green Rush back in the summer of 2010. I was an investor and part owner of 2 dispensaries and 2 infused products companies. Like everybody else, we went out and rented a giant warehouse and threw a couple hundred lights up and 1,000 plants on the floor and thought we were going to be in tall cotton 90 days later. And like everybody else back in 2010, we learned very painfully just how tough it is to take what you've done in your basement and your garage and scale it up to commercial scale. And it is extraordinarily difficult to control the environment, the pests, and even just your process and your product flow in giant spaces. So, what most cultivators did in this town and what most cultivators are doing everywhere else is taking their big spaces and making them into a bunch of smaller spaces because it's easier to control, it's more efficient to run, it keeps your heating and cooling and CO2 costs down significantly. And that's what we provide, a series of very small or smaller cultivation rooms that you can stack and add as your grow dictates. And as you need more plants, we'll bring you another one, you plug it in and add 16 lights.
See, that is great. So you can still start small, right? You buy one and you get it up and running, you get a harvest, then you buy another with that harvest versus, breaking the bank, just filling up a facility.
Yeah, that's right. And even the reality of growing plants, Jen, indoors is, you're still limited by the capabilities of the plants and your capability to create more plants. So even in, these days we're dealing with customers in Massachusetts and Washington and Canada and places like that where we're talking about very large initial installations, as opposed to what happened here in Colorado where everybody kind of started with the money that they had and then added as they could.
Sure.
These new states, these people are coming in bankrolled and,
I know.
vetted and ready to go. But even still, for instance, one of our facilities in Boston, it will end up being 108 or so containers. But even that facility will start with 12 containers, and then as they're ready, we'll add them, 4 to 6 containers at a time so they can build their grow, smartly. Nobody can just from air create thousands of mother plants and the ability to grow thousands of plants. Yeah.
But I have the best grower. Come on.
Yes, well, we all have the best grower, but even if you do have the best grower, there are certain realities that we're all dealing with. You can't you can't start a giant farm all in one day. So it just doesn't functionally work. So.
You're right about that. We were just talking about that, how like in Connecticut, you have to have $2 million in the bank. I mean, there is no more. I think the last chance to get in very slowly is probably Washington.
Definitely.
But that's it. I mean, Illinois, Mass, we're talking big money to start up.
No question. And fewer operations, the path seems to now be big operations and less of them.
You know what? And people will kill me here, but is it easier to regulate? Yes. Is
Definitely.
it easier to regulate 30, 20 grows versus, 1,200? Of course.
For sure. Yeah.
I would also, now, what price range are we looking about? What is the range for these?
Well, it depends a little bit on the equipment, of course, like everything else. You can have one, kind of a base model, or you can have it super deluxe with, computer controls and every capability under the sun. But in general, a 20-foot container with 8 lights is going to start in the, $21,000, $22,000 range, and a 40-footer about twice that.
Got it.
It's going to work out to $2,500 to $3,000 a light, which really is about what you're going to pay to build a traditional stick-built grow anyway. People have, I think, a misconception of what it takes to build an actual professional grow.
Oh, they do.
When you start talking about, from the time you start paying your architect until the day you can turn on your lights, if you can build a professional grow for less than $2,500 a light, you've done a great job.
Per light.
Yeah, per light.
Okay, wait a second.
Yeah.
I about fell over.
No, per light. Yeah, really.
Per light, $2,500, all said and done. Per light.
Yeah,
okay.
That's a number that you'll hear a lot.
Okay.
And we're similarly priced. The good news with us is
they're portable.
Yeah, they're portable, and you can add it modularly. And they're also super secure, and they're steel, so they're inert. A lot of guys here in Colorado, are getting caught with their pants down yet again by the regulators, as they now have the requirement for food grade washable walls in the rec grows. So now guys are going to have to come back in and put FRP paneling or something else up on all their walls so they can pressure wash their walls, because you can't have drywall anymore. And this is the nature of cannabis. If you don't like the rules today, just wait a few weeks, because you're going to have some new rules in a few weeks anyway. Right. And
That's
for us,
walls.
it's lucky that we start with an inert base. So it's advantageous.
Very advantageous. All right, so I'm getting the signal. We'll take a break and we'll be right back.
Cannapunch is a delicious and effective medical marijuana beverage proudly made right here in Colorado. Each bottle is freshly infused with 100% pure flower extract from the highest grade marijuana plants available today. Using proprietary extraction methods, every bottle of Cannapunch is consistently and reliably infused with an exact milligram dosage that you can count on to relieve your symptoms each and every time. Cannapunch is delicious. There's never any medicine-y taste. We use only 100% cannabis flowers. No trim or byproducts are ever used in Cannapunch. It does not require refrigeration and comes in convenient, resealable multi-dose bottles from 60 milligrams to 200 milligrams. We have drinks with dosage that works best for you. Cannapunch is available in a variety of delicious flavors like black cherry, watermelon, pineapple mango, and blue raspberry. And we now have strain-specific beverages available just for you. Cannapunch is delicious, convenient, consistent, and effective. Give it a try and experience the Cannapunch difference.
Call Canisher at 1-800-420-5757 for all your insurance needs. Canisher understands the risks you face each day, and we are there to protect your business and your investment. Since 2010, Canisher has been serving the cannabis industry nationwide. Call Canisher at 1-800-420-5757 or visit us on the web at canisher.com to learn more about our insurance and risk management services. Proud member of the NCIA.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
All right, so we're back reading this silly marijuana overdoses kills 37 in Colorado on first day of legalization. Oh, my God.
I must have missed that.
I know, me too. So what I want to ask you, and what I always ask my guests when they come on, and I think you kind of answered it, but why marijuana? It's like you saw a need. Well, you were already in it, but you saw a need that can fit marijuana, but also people can grow other things in these farm pods, right?
Yeah, sure. Just a quick bit of background on how I got into it,
Yeah.
I guess. My background, I'm an ex-CPA, of all things, and business consultant. After leaving the CPA brotherhood, I owned a construction company in both commercial and residential here in Colorado. That didn't work out so well in 2008. It was great until then, but 2008
Right.
And 2009 were rough years. So 2010, we were looking for something else to do with some time and the money that we had left, and I invested in cannabis, intending really for it to be more passive than active, but as life sometimes deals you unpleasant cards, my business partner was not necessarily the most scrupulous fellow, so I ended up getting involved in the business and found that I really liked it, particularly the cultivation side. So I didn't honestly have any experience at all. In fact, I'd never even seen a cannabis plant until 2010. But for those people listening out there who cultivate cannabis, they'll understand the power that plant can have when you first see it. I'm an avid gardener, non-cannabis, and cannabis plants are just fascinating, just fascinating. So,
They are.
So I kind of got in it that way, and it's life, right? I just never left, and
Right.
we came up with the pods because we had the same problem everybody had in 2010. I didn't want to spend $300,000 building out my landlord's building, and I was a big fan of shipping containers from my building days. So that's where the farm pod was born. But it has taken a lot of interesting turns. We have produce production pods now as well. We grow leafy greens and basil and specialty herbs and things like that. We have a licensee here in Colorado, a company called VertiFresh that grows produce for restaurants and sells it to restaurants. And that's a business that, latter part of this year, latter part of 2014, we intend to get very much back into. But at the moment, we're just buried in cannabis.
Right.
I mean, it's just, there's so...
Literally.
Yeah, literally, right. But that's a great thing. But there's just, the marketplace having gone from being essentially Colorado, because really we pretty much only sell to commercial cultivators. We finance the containers for anybody with a state issued license. So we'll finance 50% of them, without even requiring a credit check. As long as you have a state license, we know, that you're operating
Really?
above board. We'll finance the containers for you. And so that has really left us in the professional cultivation sector, which has meant mostly Colorado for the last 3 years, but now all of a sudden, all at once, now we have Canada, which is a great market for us.
Yeah.
Jen and I are doing some business together with one of my customers up in Canada.
Yep.
And we also have lots of work coming in Massachusetts, and we've got lots of work coming in Washington, and we're working on projects now in Nevada, and we have a project going in Arizona, and we're bidding on a project in Uruguay now with their legalization.
That.
So
That's pretty cool right there.
So all of a sudden it's gone from from just our little humble Colorado marketplace to an enormous marketplace, and it's been that has its own business challenges, but certainly the right kind of challenges. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. So, you are a founding member of NCIA.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's pretty impressive.
Well, thank you.
Can Labs was not a founding member. We came in later that year, I think. Because they started in January of 2011.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we joined in March of 2011.
Okay.
Yeah, and
So
I
we joined a little
love
later.
NCIA.
So do I.
Yeah, it's the, for those of you who don't know what that is, the National Cannabis Industry Association, far and away the most effective lobbying organization and legislative power for those of us in the industry, for the business.
For sure. And it is just for, people in the industry, and they're the only group that's working on a national level to change banking, taxes, and that kind of thing. So if you are in the marijuana industry, you really want to check them out. They have 3 levels of membership from $100 a month to $500 a month. And let me tell you what, they've done a phenomenal job. I've actually been to Washington, D.C. twice, as people know, for lobby days. And are you going to go to in March? Is it March?
Yes.
Are you?
I went last year, as you well know. We were there together, and I'll be there in March as well. Yeah.
I think I'm going to be there
Here.
too.
Everybody who's in the industry should be a part of NCIA. It's important.
It is. It's definitely important. So when did you become part of, well, why don't you just go ahead and tell us about the publicly traded company?
Yeah, Fusion Farm. So
Fusion Farm.
Okay, so Farm Pod is our brand name. Farm Pod is what we sell. We sell the Farm Pods. Fusion Farm is the parent company that owns the trade name Farm Pod. Fusion Farm is publicly traded. Ticker symbol FSPM, Frank Sam Paul Mary, traded on the OTC markets just like all of the marijuana stocks. We don't necessarily consider ourselves a marijuana stock since we have a non-marijuana side to our business too, but certainly we have a marijuana side to our business. Well, we started Fusion Farm from the very beginning, very early after I just came up with the concept and started selling farm pods. My brother-in-law, who's kind of from the public markets background, suggested that I should put this thing into a public entity for fundraising reasons, and good, bad, or indifferent. Back then, we did so, and we bought an existing entity and merged our assets in there. Yada 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 to everybody listening to the radio, but we've been in the public space since the spring of 2011. And that's generally a very good thing, and I think for the future it will be an exceptionally good thing. We're different than most of the stocks out there. We only have 8 million shares total issued and outstanding, where most of the guys in our space have 100 million to 900 million shares. So,
wow.
So we're pretty tightly held. There aren't that many significant shareholders. I still control the vast majority of the stock myself, and the stock market is an interesting adjunct to what we do on a daily basis. But we spend a lot of time working on the business, and maybe not quite as much time worrying about the stock as maybe some other people in our space.
Right, and that's there's something to be said for that. I mean, it is. You just don't go public, right? I mean, it is a big leap. It's very expensive.
It is.
And, if you are building a business, it's probably got to be hard to be doing all that reporting and then all that business at the same time. So it most likely will work out, though, because you're still building the business, and that's what's important.
Yeah,
I think
very
that's
much
what
so.
Stockholders want to know, is that you're working on the business and not just
printing paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, being on the OTC markets or the pink sheets, most companies in our space get a bad reputation for a reason. There's a lot of misinformation in the pink sheets. There are some great companies. Don't read that the wrong way. And there are some great pot stocks, if you will, out there. And then there are some maybe that are not so great. But for us, we spend our time on the business at this point and really not on the stock. We don't have a lot of stock out there. I don't want my shareholders to think I'm ignoring them. Far from it. We think 2014 will be, the breakout year for us, especially given all the new business that we're seeing. We're going to ship more farm pods, Jen, in the next 45 days than we've shipped since we started this company.
Right.
So, so things are
so exciting.
It really it is. And things are just exceptionally hectic on the business front, So if any of my shareholders are out there listening, we haven't even put up our Q3 financials yet. I expect that in the next day or two. We're getting ready to do our first ever audit, so we're kind of working on all these things at the same time. And it's time, it's time for us to take the next level of transparency in the public markets and get a complete audit and file our Form 10 and become SEC compliant and all these sorts of things. So that's on the horizon for the next 3 months, but that's a whole nother level of of financial capability that that we need now to build into our operation, basically.
Do you see Farm Pod's picking up any other companies right now, or?
No, I don't think so. You know, our strategies, there's quite a few companies in that space, in the marijuana stock space, you know, that are looking to acquire other companies. You know, we've had some conversations with companies that were very simpatico with us, you know, or that had something that we needed. But in general, that's really not our expansion. You know, we're looking for expansion of our core business and really to be the name in professional cultivation. And we think we have the right solution. And frankly, Jen, we've got 3 years on everybody else. You know, I mean, I've got containers that have been in the hands of professional cultivators since, you know, for almost 3 years now. And we've got, you know, numerous professional dispensaries here in Colorado, and now some in Arizona, and now some in Canada. And we've got a lot of feedback. And, you know, we do things vastly differently than we did them 3 years ago, even in the containers themselves. So, you know, we've got our hands so full of our core business that I'm not really looking to, you know, to bring in somebody else's business at this point.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, because it seems like that's all they do. It's like, well, not all of them, but they're 18. I think we checked 18, and it just seems like some of them are just, you know, picking up all these companies, but I think it's more so because their core is not working.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you know, acquisition is a strategy in and of itself, and I'm not gonna necessarily bash anybody else's approach.
Right.
But for us, you know, we've got, you know, we can see the path to what we need to do with what it is that we're doing now, and we don't intend to change from it. You know, the biggest change for us is going to come in, you know, expanding our non-cannabis, you know, product line sometime in the latter half of the year once we've sufficiently built our infrastructure to handle the cannabis, basically.
So are these shipping containers, are they used?
Well, all shipping containers here in the U.S. are used.
Are they?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
They're primarily built in China. Still a few being built in Europe, but most
That's
shipping
awesome.
containers
So
come
it's
from China.
recycling.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Yeah. So
I mean, that's
as everybody
awesome.
is fully aware, you know, the United States imports almost everything. So, you know, we have more than half of all the shipping containers in the world sitting in this country. So they're all used to some degree, but there's a big variety. You know, shipping containers are like they're a commodity. They're like lumber, right? So there are so many of them. You know, that there are grades. You know, so we primarily and all the time try to buy what's considered a one ship, as close to new as you can get here. It means it's been, you know, filled up with goods from China, likely shipped to the U.S. one time, and then we get our hands on it. So
nice.
You know, they're better, straighter, easier to work with. They're just a better platform for us to, you know, to build our product line on. Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think about how they could get super damaged, and then
they
lining
do.
things up is not working out.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, it's tough for us to deal with used shipping containers, you know, especially significantly used shipping containers.
That is so interesting. So you have containers that are actually, it's almost time for a break. I just looked at the thing, but we'll come back and talk about how they've progressed in the last 3 years.
Sure.
We'll take a break.
Great.
iVita Wellness is committed to compassionate patient care while providing the highest quality medicine at an affordable price. At iVita Wellness, patients can get top shelf ounces for $150 every day. iVita Wellness also carries pharmaceutical grade pure CO2 oil. iVita Wellness is located in Uptown Denver on 1616 Pearl Street, open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can reach us at 303-952-9150 or our website at www.ivitawellness.com. iVita Wellness is Denver's compassionate care center.
This segment was brought to you by The Farm, a medical marijuana care center located at 2801 Iris Street in Boulder. The Farm carries premium, cannabis, edibles, and Hummingbird brand products. Visit our new cannabis lifestyle store for your local artesian glass, vaporizers, and hemp clothing. The Farm has been serving Boulder since 2009. Isn't it time you come and see what we have to offer?
The National Cannabis Industry Association would like to thank its members who represent the leading professional businesses in America's emerging legal cannabis market. NCIA is the only organization that has unified legitimate cannabis business across the nation to fight for real reform in Washington, D.C. For more information or to make your business a member, visit us online at thecannabisindustry.org.
All right. So let's talk about some of the things that have changed from your first pods out to now, your new pods.
Sure. Well, like everything else, there's no better teacher than experience. So The pods that we had out in the beginning, while they're all fine and still fully functioning, kind of like anybody else's product, like last year's computer or, last year's car for that matter,
For sure,
progress and technology marches on. And in our industry, it's marching really rapidly because there's a lot more interest in our industry than there was 3 years ago, So lighting technology changes fast.
Oh, the LEDs.
Oh, yeah. Now
LED.
we don't use LEDs very much in cannabis yet, although I'm a huge fan of LEDs. We use LEDs extensively in our lettuce and basil growing pods where power consumption is more of an issue.
They're up and coming though, right?
Yeah.
LEDs in cannabis.
Oh yeah. Oh, for
right?
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no
'Cause
doubt.
I don't grow.
Yeah. No.
So
In time, they will probably take over. Where traditional lighting is now. Although there's other lighting coming on too with plasma and OLEDs and things like that. So things are always moving. But as much as the containers themselves have developed, so have how we suggest people use them and our level of involvement with our customers. Here in Colorado, all the guys that we sell to have been growing commercially for a number of years. They know how to grow and or very much are set in their ways with the systems they like to use and things like that. We like to say around the shop in Colorado, we sell the environment to Colorado guys, right? The farm pods provide, your perfect day. If you want it to be 72 with a slight breeze and 45% humidity,
Right.
then that's what you get. You tell the pod what you need and the pod will give it to you.
That is
and in
cool.
Colorado, that's what the growers want.
Right.
In the new states, they need more help, so we've kind of been forced into a consulting role. I hesitate to use that word consulting because we really don't do consulting. There are plenty of great consultants out there, and we work with a large number of them. But we do
Sure.
complete facility design for our guys now. We sell, our containers, we sell nursery containers, we sell veg containers, we sell flower containers, we sell dry and cure containers, we sell, everything that you need to do in cultivation you can do inside of a farm pod. And in our larger the new facilities in the new states where we're starting from scratch, we have the luxury of designing them just like that, right? So we'll lay out 108 containers and you'll have, 14 nursery containers and 12 veg containers and 80 flower containers and 15 dry and cure containers, et cetera, et cetera. So, and we'll process map and tell our guys, this is the schedule you should be on and this is your expected production capacity and this is how many plants you're talking about and, essentially laying out for them the groundwork for how they need to grow. If they have a great grower and they know what they want to do, we're more than happy to listen and give you exactly what you want. But in the new states, we get a lot more business guys than we get plant guys.
You bet, yeah.
And so they
need help.
Yeah, they need help. That's right.
It only makes sense though that you can consult on that. I mean, it only makes sense because you know it better than anyone.
We probably have as much experience as anybody, considering the number of growers we have using our system. Yeah, we've probably got as much feedback as anybody walking around on the planet at the moment. So and more every day.
So it looks like when we're looking at your website, so this panel right here, what is that? I just saw a kick-ass picture of it. Yeah. So what's that?
Well, that actually is the mini split air conditioning head that you were looking at on that last picture. That right there, what you have up now, is a fire suppression system. So the pods will do up to and everything. Even the most basic container, the most basic farm pod's going to grow, the best plant you've ever grown. Things that people like to add to their farm pods are primarily related to efficiency and automation. We tend to now put a lot more computer control than we did in the beginning. You can have your pod do essentially everything for you: water the plants, maintain the environment,
Wow.
send you a text if anything gets out of gets out of line.
It sends you a
Sure.
really?
Oh, sure, yes. Send you a text, let you know your temperature got too high or your
I'm too
CO2
hot.
is too low. Right, exactly. And then you can
That-
pull up
Oh
your
my
camera on your
God, you
smartphone
are
and take a look.
kidding me.
No, it's important because not every
That's fantastic, though.
Growers don't want to be at the grow at 3:00 in the morning if they don't have to be.
No.
But you do
No,
want to
no,
know
no.
if something's wrong in your garden. So, if it'll text you and you can take a look and it's a big deal, then get up and go to the garden. And if it's
But
not,
if it's
then
not
stay in
you,
bed.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Very
And yes, some
cool.
of it you can adjust right
Some
from
of
your
you
phone.
can adjust
Yeah,
from your
exactly.
phone.
So
That's unbelievable.
yeah, and that will get ever more true. I mean, 10,
Right.
10 years from now, we'll be putting the plants in, closing the doors, and coming back in 90 days to harvest.
Bam!
Essentially. Yeah. Mostly.
You bet.
In lettuce and basil, that's what we do already. We plant seeds, fill the containers, close the doors, and come back and open the doors and harvest. They don't require any work along the way. Cannabis is not quite so easy as that, but in time, with small plants, I think it might be.
Wow. That's so incredible.
Yeah.
Of course you have that though. It's like I think about our instruments too. You know, my chemist can log in and see the instrument.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because she doesn't want to be at the lab at 3 in the morning.
No, of course not. But you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars of inventory, so that's a capability that's really not optional. You know, you really have to have that.
You do, and I think you're crazy if you're spending that money and not getting it because you're not going to be saving any money.
No, even
your time is worth. See, people have to understand that their time is worth more than getting up at 3 in the morning. You know what I mean? It's
Sure,
like
absolutely,
spend the extra money.
absolutely.
How about manufacturing facilities? So you said you had
Great question.
one here, right?
Yep. Yeah. So we just built a new one in Denver. In fact, you were at the open house
It
party
was
in October.
beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So we have a new manufacturing and sales facility in Denver that we opened in October. We are looking to open our first West Coast facility in the Portland, Oregon area in February or March.
Wow.
And then hopefully sometime in second quarter in the East Coast, probably in Delaware, but that remains a little bit to be seen. So, it's important for us to have manufacturing on the coasts because, number one, that's where the containers are, so it brings our costs down. And number two, those two states in particular, Oregon and Portland are both, non-sales tax and low tax rate states. So that makes a big difference when you're talking about, our typical order these days is anywhere from $250,000 to $4 million in containers. 7, 8, 9% sales tax adds up real fast. So,
yeah.
So as a straight business strategy for us, that's important.
That's a great idea.
Presents some challenges, but it's important.
So walk me through this. So I order a farm pod right now.
Yep.
As things sit. Where does it come from and where is it built? Like all of that stuff.
Sure. Well, right now everything's built here in Denver.
It is, okay.
So we have one manufacturing facility. So
they ship here.
Yeah. So we get our containers. Painted and prepped for us by a separate company. So they arrive at us painted with our 94% reflective paint on the inside, painted on the outside, with the doors all fixed and working and in great working order. And then we outfit the equipment and the systems. Turn it into a farm pod. So if you ordered it today and you wanted it here in the Denver area, you're 2 to 3 weeks from having your farm pod. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can plug
but
it
again,
in and grow
the shipping, see, that's going to save you so much money rather than shipping here and then shipping back to the coast.
Yeah, for sure. Very much so.
Understood.
It's also
Okay.
a time frame issue, right? And importantly too, we have all of our farm pods ETL certified these days. So just like
what does that mean?
So
everyone knows.
ETL is Edison Testing Labs. It's like UL, Underwriters Labs. So the little mark that you have on on everything that you buy. So essentially that turns our pod into an appliance, if you will, a washing machine. So the importance of that is it really should no longer be subject to inspection from your local building department, right? So just like if I
because it already is.
Yes, it's already inspected.
Already
exactly.
done.
So it saves our growers a tremendous amount of headache with the building department.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So if you have an approved grow, you can plug it in and grow the same day.
Can people break into these things?
If you had a plasma cutter, you could. Shipping containers are steel, and they're, every TV
if somebody
and
wants to get
computer,
in,
yeah, sure. But every TV and computer on Earth is shipped in one, and they're very difficult to break into.
Right.
So yes, compared
that's
to your
another
drywall
thing.
and standard grow, yeah, you're going to have one hell of a time getting into a pod, no question.
Yeah. So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Security.
Yeah. Good luck to the middle of the night thief. That's a tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, right? Yeah, he better come prepared. Exactly.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I didn't even think about passing it through the building inspection because let me tell you what, I'm doing a tiny lab build out. Not tiny, but I mean, certainly not a gigantic. And it was such a pain. I mean, awful. Like if I could,
Yeah, no, a typical grow and, being constructed is going to take you 9 to 16 months from start to finish, With us, we can cut the vast majority of that time right off,
So have you kind of maybe stocked up a bit now? Anticipating, or
for
is
sure.
it you order? And it comes from.
We mostly build to suit, but from the containers, just the containers themselves. Yes, it's important for us to get one ships and to have them ready. They're all pretty much the same, so we can get the components and outfit them relatively quickly. But making sure we have enough containers on hand, that's important. We've got a whole bunch going out right now, so we're sitting on a lot more containers than we've ever had before, for sure.
So, when it comes to that, I just had a brain fart. Sorry. Custom. What if I wanted custom?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So whether that's one container or your entire building, the answer is absolutely. Our Colorado guys, almost all of them want the containers the way that they want them, a very specific ballast or a very specific hood or a very specific everything. And we're happy to accommodate that. And if not, we have our own line now of grow equipment that we're now having manufactured specifically for us, actually through another one of your radio program people, Grow Life.
That's right, Grow Life.
Right, another publicly traded company. They're a hydro company. Their symbol is PHOT. So we partnered. We partnered with them last year, and they are our main product supplier and have been. And now we are co-branding equipment inside the containers. So
fantastic. So literally, you can go, okay, custom everything, and then you could go to Grow Life and get all the custom. So you don't have to have these lights.
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, we've never built the same container for two different customers. Everybody wants what they want.
Can you get a custom size? What if?
Excellent question. The answer is yes. So both in length and in width. We've done containers that we had made 10 feet wide. I don't particularly love that. That's a longer conversation for a different radio program. But cutting them to different lengths, we do all the time. So we're sending an order of 30-foot containers to Canada this month. Those were 40s to start with, and we cut them down 10 feet because their building couldn't hold two sets of 40s. Their building was 70 feet wide, so we get two sets of 30s double stacked. So so that's part of what I was talking about with the consulting, Jen. It's important for us to look at your building and really maximize your ability to get the most lights you can in your space, because nothing else matters to a cannabis cultivator. This is not your grandfather's cannabis cultivation.
Production.
Yeah, this is agriculture. You need volumetric efficiency, space efficiency, and you need to get as many lights in your space as you can possibly get. End of conversation.
Absolutely. Well, that's fascinating. I mean, I'm glad we have it out there. Now, when I talk to more people about this, because I think a few times people were like, well, I have this kind of facility. Will it fit? And I'm like, I don't know. Well, it will.
Oh,
you can custom build to any.
Absolutely. It'll fit in any facility, right?
Any facility.
Yep.
That is fantastic. Yeah, Grow Life, again, for people that didn't hear, they are publicly traded, and they are all about grow equipment and stuff like that. Yep. They also are now doing financing too, and I didn't know you did financing.
Oh, yeah, we've been doing financing for some time, right? Yeah.
State license.
If you're listening to Grow Life, maybe you can give us a little bit of that.
Yeah, me too. Just kidding, Rob. Just kidding. How does the tax problem that we're having involve farm pods at all?
Well, it doesn't involve us directly, because we're not subject to IRS 280E, right? We're not cultivating cannabis, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are an equipment supplier. But the pods, the one area that the IRS 280E in particular has allowed people to take deductions on is cultivation equipment. So there is a benefit to having, essentially everything we sell you is going to be deductible. Because the cultivation side and the equipment side is a deductible expense. So,
that is huge to remember for
so
those people out there. You need to remember that. Tax deduction, you need to get all the tax deduction you can on the grow side.
Yeah, absolutely. And from the banking side, everybody understands that problem, and we've been financing these things. We financed the first pods we ever sold to Mile High Green Cross 3 years ago. So we've been doing it from the beginning. And we've been advertising it, maybe not so much all the time because we have limited financial resources, just like everybody else. Although we've fixed that problem, so don't hesitate to call. But yeah, financing. It's not easy being in this industry, and it's not easy being. The guys who have stuck this industry out and who are brave enough to come in this industry, they deserve a little help. Darn it,
they really do.
And we're happy to do that.
So. Let's see. Okay. So Uruguay. Did you hook up with that person at the DPA conference?
No, but we got to, so we've been providing proposals and a little bit of guidance down in Uruguay through one of our Canadian connections, because for those of you not understanding what's going on in Uruguay, they are the first country ever to legalize marijuana. They did that a few weeks ago, and one of their main goals is to export marijuana, which as a nation, which primarily means Canada at the moment, because they're only going to export to nations where it's legal to import, and there aren't many of those yet.
Right. I was surprised with Canada.
Yeah.
Canada's got some funky import-export.
Yeah, they have some very progressive things.
They
for those of you
do.
not watching Canada, you should pay attention.
You definitely should be watching
Canada's
Canada.
important to the game. Yeah. So we're a long way from getting things done in Uruguay, but I am planning on being down there next month. I'll be interested to see Montevideo, Uruguay. I have not been to South America before, so it should be fascinating.
Oh my God, when are you going there?
Third week of February, it looks like.
Oh, I'm so jealous. Yeah. So we had, I think we had, Brazil and a lady from Uruguay that came after the DPA conference. They wanted to see the lab and everything, and they want to open a lab there as well, but they have to do a lot first to get it going. Do you even know when they're going to start?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's all very new.
I have no clue about that.
No,
But
and we're far from cementing any sort of deal in Uruguay. Not to mislead people getting all excited about that around my stock. Be careful. I'm not trumping something that's not happening. That's a down the road.
But it's very exciting because all these countries that are going to come on board are going to look to the United States.
Oh, very much so. Yeah.
So
and frankly, to Colorado at the moment because we've been doing it the longest.
Right. We have under-regulated systems.
Environment.
See,
Yeah, for sure.
That's the key. California's been doing it too, but they have not done it in a regulated system, and that's why when you find a consultant, you really want to make sure they've actually got somebody a license or.
Oh yeah.
Right.
There's a lot of difficulty in the consulting space.
Yeah. So we'll take a break and we'll come right back.
Ideal 420 soil is preloaded to perfection with all your nutrient, microbial, and biostimulant needs. It's compatible with all strains and is good for a 22-week grow cycle from seed to harvest. This product is 100% organic and gives your marijuana that awesome aroma and smooth taste we all desire. Ideal 420 Technologies is well-grounded in soil chemistry, soil physics, and microbial biology, making them the most advanced soil company in the marijuana industry. They do the science so growers can focus on what truly matters, the plants themselves. No more mixing and feeding of expensive nutrient lines, supplements, and foliar sprays. Not to mention, the company is prideful in being the most consistent soil product that has yet to hit the market. Due to the results when using Ideal 420 soil, they are quickly changing the standard for cannabis cultivation. To order the product, go to ideal420soil.com. Use promo code INTHELAB for an additional 20% off. Extraction Tech Solutions. Not only is it safe, but it offers one of the only ETL certified essential oil extraction systems on the market. Our equipment meets or exceeds all of the North American safety standards. Customer relationships are important to us, so after the sale, it doesn't stop for us. We are reliable and therefore when our customer needs us. We offer pre- and post-sales training, method development, services, and repairs. Extraction Tech, safe and reliable because it matters. Contact us at www.extractiontech.com. or 720-515-9254.
Green Faith Ministry is for spiritual guidance, MMJ information, and networking combined with compassionate care on the way to enlightenment with all Green Faith sacraments. Green Faith provides charity assistance, including medical and food throughout the year. Contact them at greenfaithministry.com.
And we're back. Okay, so what else can you do to a farm pod?
To a farm pod or in a farm pod?
To a farm pod, on and on. No, I'm kidding.
There's some video. All of our licensed growers have video cameras. So in a farm pod might be a different question.
Now I'm picturing like the White Snake video with Contain. What was her name? Tanya
Contain.
Tanya
Yes,
Contain
right.
told a train wreck, and she's like on the car. I'm just picturing her on like the farm pod.
Maybe for some future marketing literature, Jen. I'll give that some thought.
No, that's terrible. I'm so against that too. Women with a half naked in cannabis advertising makes me angry because I don't think a woman has to be half naked to advertise marijuana. But what do you do?
Well, we might have to agree to disagree.
Of course.
I'm joking.
No, I know. Women, sex sells. I get it. I get it.
You said it. I didn't.
I know. I did. But what other? I mean, God, I'm just like,
What's next?
Yeah. What's next?
The industry's moving fast. It's moving towards more automation, and less human involvement. It's moving towards smaller plants from big plants. Unfortunately, the the regulatory environment in every state is different, maybe unfortunately and fortunately. So it forces a very different growing style. The growing style that we're recommending to our Massachusetts and Canadian customers that have no plant counts is entirely different than I would recommend to a Colorado cultivator who's, strapped with the plant counts that the guys have to deal with here. So, it presents both a challenge and an opportunity. The challenge is you got to figure out a growing system for every set of regulations. The opportunity is you get to sell a growing system for every set of regulations. So, but whether, many plants or few plants, labor is the cost factor that everybody needs to be focusing on. Everybody's always focused on utility bill.
I know, it's labor.
Utility bill is a big issue. There's no question, but utility bill is less than 25% of your labor. Labor is really the issue.
It is.
And it's not, no, I'm not trying to take away American jobs before anybody, sends us a text about that. There's plenty of labor needed in this industry, whether they're, cultivating or spending too much labor or not. But yeah, the game has changed. It's now about process flow, plant flow, understanding, how you can clone 10,000 plants a week, and how you can harvest 35 pounds a day, and how you can get high quality production to your consumer, and how you can do it at the lowest cost. I mean, this is now agriculture. It's no longer bonsai cannabis plants.
No,
it's not.
No, and it hasn't been, and people just don't understand that. I mean, I remember, I'm in the building with the clinic, and their line was unbelievable.
Of course. And
at least they got to wait inside though, and actually Weed Maps was nice, opened up their space so people could come sit down. So it was really nice actually, versus standing outside in the snow because it was snowing.
Yep.
But it was just amazing. Everybody was smiling and happy. But then you get, well, how much is that going to cost, or what's that going to cost? And I was like, does it really matter? You're buying marijuana for the first day. History is being made here.
Well, absolutely.
I would have paid, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. But people have to understand, you get what you pay for.
With everything in life.
With everything in life. If you get concentrates at a very cheap price, you're buying butane, propane. You're buying all those hydrocarbons with your cannabis. If you're buying cannabis at a very low rate, I mean, you're getting what you pay for. The top people that are growing, they charge accordingly. I mean, it's true. And some people do have a lower shelf, let's say, than top shelf. But you really, I just can't say enough. And so many people, even after 3.5 years, I still see crappy pot.
Yeah, sure.
Completely crappy, because they cut corners and it is production, and they want to blow it out at $25 a quarter. I'm like, quit trying to win on price. You need to sell on your product.
Yeah, that's been an interesting, here in Colorado, that's been an interesting dynamic to watch for a long time now, because the market's been so price driven, and guys have been forcing ever and ever lower prices. But I think we're finally starting to see that correct. And I think, frankly, the legalization initiative and, adult use is really going to help to change that, and it's good.
And the perception.
Yeah, and the perception, right. Yeah, absolutely. There'll always, like anything else, there will always be a cheap provider, in every business. I don't care what it is, from, waffles to Winnebagos, but there will always be good providers as well.
There was, I'm looking on Facebook right now because, oh my God, it was the cutest thing. This 85-year-old granny who has been, not fighting for legalization, but a granny that knew that it should be legal.
Right.
Was in line at the clinic, and it's the cutest thing. And she's just like, I'm so happy I can buy cannabis. It's just like, yeah, granny.
Yeah.
People always think that it's the younger generation, but it is. I mean, I think the majority of red card holders in Colorado, I think the average age is 40.
Yeah, I think
I really think it is.
I think that's right.
They always talk about the snowboarder, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm a snowboarder. I'm 43. Shut up.
Yep. Well, there's certainly lots of young males doing it too, but I think a lot of people understand that this is a product and a drug, if you want to use that word, that has been given a bad name for a long time. It's silly that that it's still illegal, frankly, And I think, to the credit of all the dispensary guys here in Colorado, on the first day of January, I think a lot of people are finally starting to understand that, And
Absolutely.
I think they should be very proud of themselves the way the first day of January went.
Oh my God, they should. I mean, I'm very proud of our industry because, listen, everybody's got their eyes on Colorado, waiting to see how if they want to do this in their state. Because look, Tennessee, did you see that?
Yeah,
Tennessee just and then Tennessee for medical, Vermont for full legal, which we knew was coming.
Well, and then Governor Cuomo's thing in New York, the day
New York?
before yesterday, that was amazing.
Yeah.
And Florida, it's going to get on the ballot now in Florida, which is
Florida,
fantastic.
shut up.
Yeah, yep.
Oh my God. And Florida needs it. I mean, there's a lot of older people there that literally are so upset because they're in so much pain that that's question. Where they need it.
Yeah, no question.
I truly want to travel to retirement homes and stuff and talk to these people and show them, like show and tell.
It would make a real difference for a lot of those people.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
I know. And that's one of the biggest things that I want to do. But Florida, I'm still freaking out about that. But I just think dominoes. So what is your prediction for legalization? Full legalization.
You mean in the coming states, or you mean nationwide?
Fully federally legal.
I don't know. It's going to be some time. I think the federal government will punt it to a states' rights issue long before it becomes federally legal. But
really,
I think so. But everybody has a different opinion on that.
I believe 5 years.
Think so, huh?
Yep.
I hope you're right.
I believe that most of the states are going to go probably just a straight rec. But I don't know. But what I do know,
we'll get Oregon this year.
Oregon, yep.
Yeah, I think we'll get Oregon this year.
What I do know, though, are there more people, like everybody thought, oh, well, medical will go away. Well, even if the registry went away, okay, more people are going to try it now medicinally that don't have to have their name on a list.
Yeah, for sure.
Of course they are.
Yeah, for sure.
They can just run in,
people,
grab some.
People my age, people in their 40s and 50s that are professionals that are afraid of having their name on the red card list. Yes, they will happily pop in now that they can just pay cash, walk out, and be anonymous.
Absolutely.
That's a big difference maker. Yeah,
it is.
When the great debate of how much rec demand will there be in Colorado has been raging for the last few months, I think that's one of the biggest groups that people really weren't paying attention to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, most of my contemporaries, I'm a CU grad from 1991. Most of my buddies wouldn't consider putting their name on that list, but every single one of them would consider going to the store now.
Same with my generation too, the Gen X. It's like, yeah, I could get a card, but why? I just want to go pick up something and leave.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
And just
Sure.
So
yeah, absolutely. And I get that question all the time. I get the is there any longevity to your business because people will just cultivate it at home and grow their own?
No.
And I say, yeah, do you grow your own food?
Beer.
Do you make your own beer?
Do you make your own beer?
Do you make your own clothes?
No.
Do you make anything that you buy? No, of course
you
not.
don't.
People just want to stop at the store. And frankly, the professionals are better at cultivating it than you anyway.
Right.
Soon enough, the market will settle on a price that's, cheaper than you could grow it at your house anyway.
Right. But still able to make to have a business.
And exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But that was a debate on Facebook today too. Is I'm gonna grow my own. Yeah, go ahead and do that. No, you're not.
Well,
maybe you will. I don't know.
And some people will, for sure. But and great. I think you should grow your own garden in the summer too at home and grow your own tomatoes and lettuce.
Oh.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I think you should.
Sure,
yeah,
of course, right. But
absolutely.
Most people don't.
I don't have a green thumb. My mom and dad both have severely green thumbs, and I don't know what happened to me, but I can't even keep a philodendron alive. And it really tells you when to water it.
Then I'm glad you're testing and not growing.
That's right. So if you ever see me growing, run.
Yeah, but she's the best in the testing business.
Oh, well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, darling. Well, this has been a delight. We've ran out of time, but I will definitely have you on later this year to talk about the great things that are happening. Again, Farm Pods, PHARMPODS.com. Is that the best way to get a hold of a Farm Pod? Or?
Yeah, it sure is, yeah. Go to farmpods.com.
Farmpods.com. This is Scott Dittman. You'll probably talk to somebody else, but they can answer all of your questions. If you think that this might be good for you, I wish I had land. I would definitely buy one. I would.
You got a garage, right?
No, babe.
Oh, dang.
Honey,
right.
I'm in a
City
500 square
dwellers.
foot apartment. Exactly.
City dwellers.
All right. Well, thank you so much, all my listeners out there and sponsors, and thank you so much for coming in.
The pleasure was
chatting.
mine. Thank you.
All right.